Hello students, welcome back to the part 2, chapter 8, human health and disease. So yesterday we have discussed about the infection, about the health, about the disease. Today we will continue with the second part of the chapter. Yesterday we have seen the common infectious disease and we have categorized them into different organisms which they cause different disease. Let us start with the bacterial disease. The first disease which we are going to study is typhoid. Most common word which you have heard, and every time you find in couple of seasons that this disease is quite spreaded in the city. So typhoid, it is a bacterial disease. It is caused by a pathogenic bacteria or a pathogenic bacterium, Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi. It is spread by contaminated food and water. Contamination means which is not pure, which has mixed with different things, including microorganisms. It generally enters the small intestine and then it migrates to different organs through blood. So typhoid, it is caused by Salmonella typhi. It is spread by contaminated food and water, and it goes to the small intestine and different parts of the organs through blood. What are the symptoms? Very important, there will be at least 8 or 9 symptoms in every disease, but there will be few symptoms which will be unique for that particular disease. So the symptoms for the typhoid is constant high fever, 39 to 40 degrees Celsius, that is. Second is the weakness, stomach pain, loss of appetite, constipation, headache, intestinal perforation, and death may occur in severe cases. Again, I am repeating the symptoms. Constant high fever, weakness, stomach pain, loss of appetite, constipation, headache, intestinal perforation, and death in severe cases. So, if you find headache, weakness, these are common things which we even fever. But the fever have different patterns. When it says constant high fever, it makes different from other disease. When I say intestinal perforation, that means small pores in the intestine, small holes in the intestine. The intestine is being ruptured, slowly and slowly it is being eaten by the organism. The death may occur in severe cases. Typhoid fever, it can be confirmed by one special test done by labs, that is Vidal test. One case which is mentioned in our book, that is Mary Mellon, a lady known as Typhoid Mary. She was a cook basically, and she used to have tiffin services for many workers in factories in UK. There was a sudden outbreak of a disease to these people. And when it was investigated, it was found that they all got this tiffin from, or the food from, particular lady. So, the lady Mary Mellon, she was also been examined. She was all okay, but she was a carrier of the bacteria. She was a carrier of this organism. And thus, she was named as Typhoid Mary. So, a very short question can be asked. Write a note on a typhoid. Give the example of the bacterial disease. You have to mention the causative agent. You have to mention the symptoms. And you have to mention if there is any remedy or medicines available. In our course, there is no medicines prescribed as per the curriculum, but symptoms and causative agent is must. You have to remember this. The second organism, the second disease in fact is pneumonia. It is caused by two different bacteria, Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenza. They infect the alveoli. Alveolus is the air-filled sacs of the lungs actually, where this alveoli gets filled with the fluid, resulting in the decreasing of the respiratory efficiency of the lung, and it is spread by inhaling the droplets or aerosols from the infected person or by sharing glasses and utensils and clothes from the infected person. The symptoms, again the fever, but here it is not a constant high fever, it's a fever. Chills, cough, headache, and in severe case, the lips and the fingernail turn grey to bluish in color. So most of the time, doctor, I used to ask, show your nails, show your tongue. Because when you have cold, when you have cough, when you have fever, it can be a pneumonia also. So again, pneumonia is caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenza. They infect the lungs. In special case, if you have to write, they infect the alveolus, which is present in the lungs, and they decrease the carrying capacity, that is the fluid they get filled with the fluid actually, and it decreases the respiratory efficiency of the lungs. Common symptoms: fever, chills, cough, headache, but most important, the lips and the fingernail turn bluish in color, from grey to bluish. So two examples or two disease: bacterial disease, typhoid and pneumonia. Now let us come to the viral disease. We have three different viral diseases in our curriculum. The first is the common cold. Common cold, it is caused by some group of organisms or group of viruses basically, that is rhinovirus. This virus, they infect the nasal epithelium and the respiratory passage, but not lungs. Remember, it has nothing to do with the lower part or below the neck, it is just till the neck, that is the nasal epithelium. Their attack lasts for maximum 3 to 7 days, that is maximum a week. It is again spreaded by contaminated objects like pen, books, cups, whatever you share. Cough and sneeze droplets from the infected person if you are in close contact with the infected person. Again, the symptoms will be nasal congestion and discharge. Either you can't take a breath or there is a running nose. Sore throat. Always you find some sore throat. Hoarseness, that is again voice is changed. Cough, headache, tiredness. In some case, fever is also there. So common cold, it is caused by rhinovirus, lasts for 3 to 7 days. It's spread by contaminated objects, infected persons. If they cough, they sneeze, and if you are around, the aerosol is going to your body. And the symptoms: nasal congestion, running nose, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache, and tiredness. Then second disease is dengue fever. This disease is caused by flavivirus. Dengue is transmitted by the bite of the mosquito, and one of the 4 dengue virus is, that is the serotypes, which it gets transmitted. So dengue is transmitted by the bite of the mosquito infected with one of the 4 dengue virus serotypes. It affects infants young children, adults with the symptoms up till 3 to 14 days after the infective bite. So symptoms actually is the time period from the infection till the first disorder or some change occurs in your body. So there is no vaccine or any specific medicine to treat dengue, but people who have dengue fever should resist and drink plenty of fluids. The symptoms: high fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, muscle joint pains, rashes are there. Common symptoms you might have heard and observed in your nearby people. The third is chikungunya. Chikungunya is caused by alpha virus. Alpha virus is also called chikungunya virus. Again, it is spread by the bites of one of the mosquitoes, Aedes mosquitoes. The best mean of prevention is overall mosquito control and avoidance of bites of any infected mosquitoes. Yes. No specific treatment is known, but medication can reduce the symptoms. Again, the symptom is high fever, severe joint pain, muscle pain, headache, nausea, fatigue, rash. So if you find chikungunya and dengue, there are common symptoms, very much common. High fever is there, severe joint pain, muscle pain, headache, nausea, fatigue, rash, common symptoms. So then the doctor asks you to further blood checkup. These are the three diseases which we have studied for the viral disease. Then we have protozoan disease. Now this protozoan disease, we have malaria in our curriculum and it is always asked for 5 marks. Because the malaria, it is having a carrier mosquito, organism Plasmodium, and this Plasmodium has a life cycle in 2 different hosts. Plasmodium has 2 different hosts for completing its life cycle. The diagram is always asked. Let us introduce first malaria and then we'll go with the life cycle of the Plasmodium. So malaria is caused by protozoa Plasmodium. There are different kinds of Plasmodium: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium falciparum. The Plasmodium falciparum, it causes most serious and fatal malaria. So the vector of Plasmodium is female Anopheles mosquito, which transfers the sporozoites, that is the infectious form of Plasmodium, from one person to another. Treatment is done with some medicines like quinine and chloroquine. Malaria can be prevented by killing mosquitoes, spraying DDT powder or BSC and using some repellent. Mosquito repellents are used. Why mosquito? Because mosquito is a vector. If you control the mosquito, the organism won't transfer from one person to another. Now, how the life cycle of the Plasmodium starts? As you know that Plasmodium requires 2 hosts to complete its life cycle. One is human and second is mosquito. So half of the life is in the mosquito, half of the life is in the human host. So the infected female Anophele mosquito, it transfers the infectious form of the Plasmodium, and that is called sporozoites, to the human body by biting. So whenever there is a bite by a female mosquito, Anopheles mosquito, the sporozoite, that is the Plasmodium, the sporozoites are the infectious form of Plasmodium. It enters our body. Okay, fine. Then the sporozoites, they reach the liver cells and then they multiply there. So imagine the body Wherever there is a bite, the plasmodium reach the liver of our body and then they multiply there. How clever! This is followed by their attack on RBC cells, resulting in their rupture. So once they reach the liver, they start attacking the RBCs and they rupture also RBCs. As the RBCs gets ruptured, a toxin is released called hemozoin, and this toxin is responsible for high recurring fever, chills and shivering. High fever, chills and shivering. Okay, fine. Then the sexual stage, that is the gametes, develop in the RBC, from where these parasites enter the female anophils when they bite an infected person. So in the body of the mosquito, they fertilize and they multiply in their stomach walls. In some books it is written gut, the same thing. Sporozoites are now stored in the salivary gland of the mosquito till it again get transferred to human body by mosquito bite. After entering the human body, all events are repeated. I will repeat the cycle again. There is a diagram in our textbook, so we need to see the diagram also. If you see, first of all, in a diagram, the diagram is divided into two parts, human host and mosquito host. As soon as the mosquito bites the human, the sporozoites infect the human body. The sporozoites reach the liver where they multiply. They attack the RBCs. They release a toxin called hemozoin, which is responsible for the shivering, chills and fevers. Then these parasites, they produce asexually in the RBC, okay, and now male and female gametes are there. So as soon as these gametes are taken by another mosquito, okay, the fertilization occurs in the gut of the mosquito or stomach, and the sporozoites are formed. Now the mosquito, which has sporozoites in their gut, is ready to bite another person and release that sporozoite in that person, and the cycle is completed. So this is the cycle. Tomorrow we'll again have a lecture with a diagram, and we need to draw the diagram as it is asked in the exam. Most of the question is like, describe the mosquito host events or either human host events. So you need to draw only that part or describe that part only. Sometime if it is asked for the whole, you need to draw the whole. One more protozoan disease is amoebic dysentery, amoebiasis. It is an protozoan endoparasite, Entamoeba histolytica, which is found in the large intestine of the humans. Housefly, which is common everywhere, it acts as a vector or a mechanical carrier which transmit the parasite from feces of the infected person to the food, and then it goes to the different people. So infection takes place through the food and water contaminated by fecal matter. Symptoms are abdominal pain, constipation, cramps, and stool with excess mucus and blood clots. So we have studied today bacterial disease, viral disease and protozoal disease. Tomorrow we will see fungal disease, and again we will see the cycle of or life cycle of the plasmodium. If you have any query, please do ask or comment. Please do like the video and share. Thank you.